Hello there, YouTubers, TikTokers, subscribers, non-subscribers, and all of you who are watching this video. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, RoseRed17, and this video is about Eden Zero, Volume 27, Chapters 231 to 239. Draken is giving him that look and asked him who he is, and then Shiki introduced himself. He told him about what happened in the previous world where they last met. Shiki continues telling the story and then gets to the point where Draken had enough of it and pulls a gun on him. Shiki told him that he knows about his past, but Draken told him that in this world, he doesn't take energy from people, he takes it from animals, which explains why Weiss's mother is still alive. Shiki knows about the three hiding behind him, waiting to ambush him. Draken had enough of him and walks away until Shiki told him that they will meet again and they will become friends. But Draken isn't too sure about that because he does not have long to live, as Shiki asked him to quit this kind of work. But Draken said that lives can be saved this way, even though his business is illegal. He talks about the balance of good and evil as Shiki continues to perceive him to be a hero. Then he asks Pino about the time limit of the arrival of the corona phase and causes everyone into a panic after hearing that information. They have 3 days before the planet's time is taken away and everyone within it. So Shiki advises Draken to evacuate everyone on the planet as he walks away. Draken gets the news about his two subordinates betraying him, but he decided to dismiss it because he figures that those two may have been friends with Shiki from the other world. Back on the ship, Sister, Clean, and Moscow are happy to see Witch again, along with Hermit, who is still on Digitus as she communicates by video screen. Now the only two members left are Laguna, who is in a completely different cosmos, and Hamura, who they have on board with no memories of anyone she sees in front of her. Shiki told her everything that happened in the other world, but nothing is kicking into her memory. But then Valkyrie was brought up, and then maybe they get the idea that she could be alive in this world. But sadly, according to Hamura, she died 5 years ago. Like, holy she died in this universe too? Poor Hamura. And it's stated that in this chapter that she actually watched her die, because 5 years ago she was dueling a child and accidentally sliced his arm. And to take responsibilities for her mistake, Valkyrie took the punishment herself. Even though young Creed, yes, that Creed, was in Hamura's defense and willing to stop the beheading, but these heartless bastards still took the head of her teacher. Okay, these people are letting children swing around real swords, and the head of the household is letting his child duel a young girl still in training. What the hell did he think was going to happen? Because of that traumatizing experience causes her fear of using her sword again. After her teacher died, she decided to go and search for her biological mother, and that's how she ended up with Drake and Joe, knowing the location of her mother, which is on Sun Jewel Planet, in search for Madame Coraline. They do end up finding her, but to their surprise, she's not the villain of the planet, she's actually the protector of it. Yes, she is the savior of the people, as she and her people are fighting off the giant bugs and told Shiki and the others to run for shelter. But Shiki and the crew decide to join in and told Hamura to stay back as she has no condition to fight. They fought out every bug that they came across. Even Shiki, the one who was scared of bugs, managed to take some down. Now inside one of the shelters, a man came up to Hamura and heard that she is the daughter of Madame Coraline. He told her stories about how she abandoned her daughter and how much she misses her. He also did say there was a reason as to why she left, but he couldn't really say. So Hamura decided to join the fight, even though she doesn't have the confidence yet. Back on the battlefield, the crew is having a tough time. Even Shiki's fear of bugs got the best of him. Oh, well, at least he lasted as long as he did. Coraline got caught by a giant creature as Hamura ran towards her. But then, a bunch of other creatures was running towards Hamura, and she is then rescued by someone who's supposed to be dead. That's right, it's Valkyrie. And seeing her again is what helps Hamura regain her memories from the Universe 1 and brought back the person we know and love. The people claim victory as Hamura embraces her teacher, and Coraline is surprised and happy to see her daughter. but she doesn't feel like she has the rights to be her mother, and so she ran away. The Eden's crew sees that Valkyrie is still alive and is shocked as well. Homura told her that they are her friends from the Eden Zero, and with one look at Shiki, Valkyrie seemed to have noticed that he was the baby that they found 15 years ago. They all introduced themselves to Valkyrie as she told her story of how she didn't die. Well, after she got beheaded, it was actually young Creed that repaired her, and also she explains that androids don't die after being beheaded, which is understandable. In order for an android to die, it will have to stop its core, which is the heart. That is how Valkyrie died in the previous universe. She fought with everything she had, which exhausted her and drained her power source, therefore shutting her down permanently. Here, she's got her head chopped off and it can be reattached. So in this world, nobody dies, and also, Coraline is not a heartless bitch. Yes, she did abandon her daughter in this one, but not in a way you think. It is because instead of having Valkyrie take her place because of her greed, she left to find work to support her and her daughter. But a greedy man took an interest in her, and if she doesn't do as he says, he will destroy the people of her home planet with a satellite cannon. That is how the two girls met and formed a group called the Punishers, and so Homura is proud of her mother. Coraline wants her to leave because of the man that's threatening her, but Shiki and the others manage to deal with that jerk and destroy the satellite. Homura showed Coraline the bear that she gave her as a child as the crying woman embraces her daughter. All the girls are having a chit chat in the spa and discussing what happened to Valkyrie in this universe, and also everyone else such as Elsie, who is still living on her home planet as the princess of Lador instead of the pirate. Homura and Rebecca picture her as this. Yeah, I can totally imagine that too. Anyways, Valkyrie deems herself as the Sword of Eden and willing to practice with Homura, but Rebecca seems a little concerned about that since they're still in the bathhouse. But then Witch suggests that the best time to stimulate the ether in your body is when you're naked. That thought came to Rebecca and realized that whenever she awakened her ether gear, flew to the future, and went to the world number 30, she was naked the whole time. Not only that surprised Rebecca, but it also surprised me as well. I never would have thought of that. But now thinking back on it, every time I see her use the cat leaper, she is either in the shower or in the spa. Either way, she was always naked. And I'm not talking about the power she calls reverse, which only allows her to travel back a few minutes, and she was wearing clothes. But with the cat leaper, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that my girl Rebecca will have to strip down for her to travel back to a different universe? Well, I guess it can explain why she couldn't travel back enough when Witch died, because she was fully clothed. Man, did not think of that at all. Okay, enough of that chit chat, back to the chapter. After this image, Sister has decided to train Rebecca. Oh boy, here we go again. Meanwhile, the boys are in the cafeteria eating until Pino decided to call the girls and want to discuss something about the Eden's One. As it turns out that Pino was created to destroy the Eden's One, and it is turned out that the Eden's One has turned on its creator and developed its own intelligence. Wow, an artificial intelligent program that turned on humanity? Never heard that one before. Pino has a destructive code built up inside her as she feels that it's her mission. But Shiki disagrees with her as he tells her she is meant to follow her dreams and that they will deal with the Eden's One and that this happy world will not get destroyed. Now, speaking of the Eden's One, we soon see the ship as we also see this guy Wizard again, and the human mechanical form of the Eden's One, also known as Over NU Etherion. Okay, I understand the Over and the Etherion part, but what about the NU part? Well, according to the cover of this chapter, the NU is a Greek word written as an uppercase N and a lowercase v. Oh, that's a V instead of a U, but it still doesn't explain what it stands for. If any of you understand what this stands for, please leave a comment down below. I really appreciate it, because I swear to God, this is going to haunt me. Pino discusses the term about Eden's One and how it functions in this world. As it turns out, it didn't take over the body of Ziki as it did in the previous world, but instead, its body was created by Mobius, which was the same machine machine that created the dragons from Elsie's home planet. The Eden's One's body is created to be the ultimate body known as Void, which is the lack of everything. Pino continues explaining the power source between the Eden's 1 and the Eden's 0, and that the EZ has infinite power. But that isn't the only information that was given out. The Eden's 1 is followed by the 4 Dark Stars and also the OSGs. However, Draken Joe and Nero aren't members of the OSG, but they're still members that we are familiar with, such as Deadman Crow and Godok Noella. But there is one more member that we are also familiar with, and that is Master Zenowith. Everybody was shocked to hear his name and that he's alongside the enemy. Shiki was indeed upset about this, but Pino continues with the information and calls out 3 other names that are unfamiliar to them. Valkyrie seem to recognize the name Lady Freya, who is the legendary swordswoman who can master any blade. Rebecca also seemed to recognize one of the names as well, known as Joker Hexley, but is not sure where she heard it from. Meanwhile, Shiki is still upset to the fact that his former master is one of the bad guys. Weiss and Pino manage to calm him down as they discuss their next move. On the Eden's 1, we are reintroduced to the Dark Stars and discuss their plan on finding Mother and destroying her. Meanwhile, Shiki and the others make their way to Planet Sandra to find Laguna, only to see him shoot a woman in the head. Everyone was in shock when they see him kill that woman. Shiki ran up to him and demands an explanation, but it was all just an act for a movie that they were filming. As it turns out, Laguna is an actor. They apologize for interrupting, but Laguna decided to cancel the show as he revealed his memories have come back. Back on the Eden Zero ship, the Shining Star are discussing the Eden's 1, and Sister suggests that his body is made out of scratch, but Valkyrie mentions a model. Now back when Shiki and the others, they're all happy to have Laguna back. He discussed that he had his memory back a few days ago, and didn't bother calling anyone since he wanted to solve his own problems, which is Shura. Laguna wants to kill him, but Shiki doesn't want that. He wants to be friends with him. This, of course, pisses off Laguna, as Shiki gives off that smirk look. He also explains that people are different in this universe. For example, Hamura's mother is not a greedy bitch. Nero and Draken are different as well, but Laguna mentioned that the planet Foresta was still taken over by robots, but the humans managed to evacuate, and that is how the little girl and the little android end up on planet Sandra. The robot that caused the uprising was Master Zenowith. Once Shiki heard that name again, he decided he should head for Foresta, but only to learn that Zenowith crushed that planet away, causing it to disappear from the universe. Shiki and the others were shocked, but then one of Laguna's men came along and announced that Shura is on his way to Sandra. Laguna and his crew are surprised by Shura's arrival, and Hamura thinks it's because of them, and when I mean by them, she means her and her crew. But then Shiki transported away and stopped the ship with his gravity, just like how Shura stopped the Eden Zero with his gravity back in the universe too. But before that, we get the reintroduction of Shura's crew, and in this universe, they act differently. Even Ajuna, the woman that he tortured in the last universe, ends up becoming his fiance. I did not see that coming, but then again, there was a lot of things that happened that I didn't expect in this universe. So after Shiki caught the ship with his gravity abilities, Shura comes down to confront him. Shiki reintroduced himself and told Shura that he knows about him and that he seeks Mother. Shura asked him where he got his powers from, and Shiki told him that he got it from Ziki. Shura seemed to be familiar with the name and decided to put Shiki to the test. The two started brawling on each other throughout the rest of the chapter until they get to the end, when Shura decided that he wants him and Shiki to join forces, not to become friends, but to kill Zenowith. Shiki was shocked and told Shura that Zenowith is not a bad guy, which pisses off Shura more, and to make things worse, the 4 Shining Stars attacks Shura's crew, which makes Shiki more of a bad guy in his eyes and wants to take him down until Laguna showed up. He told Shura that he wants to defeat Zenowith as well, which is surprising to Shiki. But what makes things more surprising is that Zenowith is there on the planet, and he is this little guy. It turns out that his body and powers were taken from him. He had to transfer his personality into the little robot, and the one that stole his power is none other than Dr. Mueller. Yeah, that creepy old guy who causes Hermit to hate humans and traumatize Jin and his sister? Yeah, that guy. Oh dear God. Well then everyone, thank you so much for watching, and if you are new here, you can subscribe to this channel, and you can also hit that notification button for more updates on my newest videos. And don't forget, you can check me out on Twitter, TikTok, and Discord, and I'll see you all in the next video. RoseRed17, out.